Good morning, everyone, and thanks for being here again in the Diary of the Landscaper with episode number 4, where we talk about how to be an entrepreneur, a business owner, and how to grow personally so you can develop a successful career. Today episode, I'm gonna talk about the things that I did to keep growing as a project manager, as a worker, to become what I am today, a CEO of the Diary of the Landscaper and my company. So again, in the previous episode, we talked about how I started, how I didn't have no experience, but how I turned that bad into a good, because I was in the limbo to be fired, but I overcome all that. So by creating myself a better me e- every day. So meaning grow 1% or more every day to become a more aware, become more knowledgeable and more understandable, and be more successful. So back in those days, again, I was doing all types of jobs and works, and I got the time to manage the biggest jobs on the company, and again, always learning the language. Very important, getting the license. I see a lot of Latinos out there no quieren manejar. They don't want to drive because I don't know, they're afraid or something. But getting a license, getting the language too, very important. Don't be afraid to speak it. Myself, and it's a perfect example. I just went to school for about a month or so in a public school, English as a second language, right? But I just left it because I feel like I was learning faster on the street and the job than the school. So I don't say the school is not good. I'm not saying that. I just say I'm just saying that myself. I find myself learning faster outside that, and I always use the tools that I was the little tools or the greatest tools that were out there, like Google Translate. I know this is recent, but computer helped me a lot, like typing there, listen to radios, watching TV, interact as much as possible on English will help you learn faster and understand way better. A lot of us are afraid to speak it, to listen, and we don't put ourselves out there. We try to hang with Latinos, which is fine, totally fine. But if you don't put yourself with English speaking people, it doesn't have to be American, Chinese, whatever English people you can speak, and try to practice as much as possible, listening, hearing it, talking it, writing it. Every aspect of that will help you a lot to grow and understand the language better. So that's what I did. I started learning myself, and I always try to fill out the paperwork at the best knowledge I have, and always finding the way to do it right. Always be organized with your paperwork. There is a lot of guys out there that their paperwork is all messy, or they don't even like to do paperwork. They have everything on their head, and that creates you a problem when you want to grow. So that's one of the big feedbacks that I got from my supervisors. That my paperwork, it was always clean. It was well done. I mean, you know, I don't say it was the greatest, but I always encourage myself to do it right the first time. And if I ever have a mistake, there is a way to correct right away and make the paperwork into the into the superiors as fast as you can, so the company can start making more money based on your actions, and those actions will bring you more equity to your person and to your salary, because they're gonna see that you are not just an employee, you are part of the dream or the vision of the company, let's say. So always encourage you to work on those topics, and also take as much training as possible. Those trainings will help you grow way faster too. And I did that. I did as much training as I can. I'll research as much as I can, we I used to go to the CLCA, which is California Landscape, uh, California Landscape Associations. I don't remember exactly, but it's a networking, let's say, thing that they help you grow, and they have some certificates that you can get from there, like irrigation technician, uh, maintenance, and I think it was enhancement or installation. With those certificates, you can grow more on your income because you're gonna have a paper now that shows to other companies, to other persons, people that you have passed a test to the to do those things right. And those tests were hands-on, so you had to demonstrate the ability from your side to do the task. Like meaning, if you install pavers, you do a little piece of papers, like it will say it was like 3 by 3 or 2 by 2, something small, but the ability to grade it, compact it, and everything. Okay, you had to demonstrate each section had a like about an hour or 30 minutes, depends on the task, right? Grading through drainage, rototilling, controller, scheduling or programming, all those things. There was, and they were a person there rating you or qualifying you, or let's say taking notes of your mistake. Like when you're taking a driving test, right? Someone is right next to you. There was a person there all the time taking notes of your mistakes or whatever, and that will pass it on. And at the end of the day, or at the end of the week, whatever, I don't remember how long it will take, but they will let you know if you pass or not. So there were multiple stations there. They used to do it in Cal Poly, in San Luis Obispo. I think they used to do it, and then some in the Sacramento. They moved around the state because the state is so big, so you guys, anybody can join and get those certificates. And I really encourage people to do it. That helped me a lot to grow and get more knowledge too. Because a lot of us, we just go to work and there's another day of grinding, chingale chingale, but we don't take the time to learn. The more you learn, the more you're gonna grow, and the faster you're gonna grow. But sometimes we we come into this. I would say, I want to use the right word, but let's say this kind of laziness that we rather drink and be in parties. They grow personally, and that will set us downwards or backwards instead of growing up on the industry, because the industry is big. There's a lot of money right here, but sometimes we just spend our time grinding because we don't want to take time for ourselves to develop ourselves so we can grow more in income and knowledge. And again, don't get lost, don't get me wrong. We all do business different way, but the only way to be successful is the more you learn and the more you pass that knowledge to other people. You don't have to do what you learn. You just have to drive, let's say, drive people to do what you learn, and then you will become a successful CEO. I always put this sample to my guys. The John Deere is the one of the best or the best tractor out there in the world, but without a driver, it's just a piece of metal sitting there. Same thing with the labors. If you have a good labor, you have a lot of knowledge. But if your brain doesn't know how to put that in your favor, you're just gonna be that tractor sitting there with bunch of knowledge and technology, but not using it for your own benefit. So you have to have a driver, or you can be the driver for that tractor. So either or, if you are the tractor, you have to have a mentor or something to help you put the knowledge to work and give you profit or make you an income out of it. But if you are the driver and you got all the knowledge too, and your guys are the tractors, you have to know how to direct them and make them understand what is your vision to do to follow your dreams. And most things, the one thing that I learned being a successful, I would say, leader, is I always treat people right, and I always encourage to learn to be a better person, and that's one of the things my crew develop a faster learning, a faster family oriented crew. So, like example, any new guy, I was the biggest crew in the company back then, back in 2003, 2004. I was the biggest crew, and always getting the new guys. And once I train a guy decently, they pull it out of my crew to give it to someone else. Because the other crews, like I said in the previous episode, they didn't want to teach, they didn't want to pass the knowledge. I did every time I was training hands-ons, every teaching the guys to go into my crew to be a better worker. So I was always developing systems to make it work faster and efficient without being burned out. So like, hey, always think twice and not once. So and make sure you understand how to do it and all those things and how to use the shovel in a better way, how to use the saw. So any tool we use, I use the time to figure out how to use it the more efficient, safest, and easiest way. And that I was always passing it on to my guys. Any tool, any paperwork too, I showed them how to do the paperwork. There's other people who didn't wanna let the crew workers fill the on time car. They just put the time there and they hand the paper to sign it. That's it. The other guy checked the time, of course. Oh yeah, I worked this one, and they sign it. I wasn't that guy. No, I let everybody look. You have to fill up your tank card, and if it was something wrong, I tell them, look, you have a mistake here. Don't use white up or eraser. Just scratch the thing, put your initial because it's legal, and then correct the correction right next to it. But they never use white up or try to erase things. That's not illegal. So all those things and thing for the paperwork, the guy who I saw he was has potential to be a leader. I always sit it set it next to me and start teaching him how to fill the paper, the work orders, the job, the daily report, and all those things. And the same thing with the new equipment, a podcast. I was the first crew to start the to get the a brand new podcast or skid steer on my company, Gachina. I call my company because I work there and I feel part of that company. Again, I help the business grow a lot, and they help me to grow a lot too. So it's a two-way road. So I was always looking for my Latinos, for my guys, my family, but at the same time, I was looking for me to grow. Because if I grow, they grow. If they don't grow, I don't grow. So see, it's a two-way road. But a lot of again back then, and still there's a lot of people who doesn't want to pass the knowledge. They we feel the remorse, or the fear that we're gonna lose our job because they're gonna take care of our hands. Nobody will take your job if you always improving yourself, you always learning, and you demonstrate that you can keep doing the work even though you're passing the knowledge up because they're gonna grow, then you're gonna grow. So again, it's a myth that if you teach someone, they will not, they will steal your job. No. So then I start teaching them all my knowledge, keep passing it on, and then at lunchtime we used to sit everybody around with those little camping burners to heat our meal and warm our tortillas. And I remember I did this thing which everybody would bring the dishes all together and we all do kind of like a buffet feast thing. We everybody get the food. Sometimes we mix everything together, and some guys bring soda, some guys bring lunch, some guys bring tortillas. So we were a family. We were not allowed, like, oh, I bring lunch this time. Now it's your turn. No, we understand that some people couldn't bring lunch because they were not used to cook or they didn't have the service on their room. Like a lot of people, they live in a room or they rent a space where they don't allow to be cooked. I know that's different story. That's a different topic, but It's very common here in these expensive cities. There are a lot of people don't let people to cook. So we're humans and we restrict ourselves from each other. Anyways, as part of this topic, so always let people do what they have to do, and you're gonna grow, and they're gonna grow. Anyway, so I always let encourage them. And if you warm tortillas, the other guy can warm the food. And that way we had three burners because one was warming tortillas, the other two were warming the food. So again, it was like a buffet thing. We all sat around a big circle, sharing food, sharing stories, laughing about things that happened at work or like someone fell. We laugh about it, but at the same time, we learn from that, right? We laugh in a good way, not in a bad way, like making bullies. Like look, this guy fell because he didn't pay attention of he was carrying the stuff and he didn't pay attention. There was a trench there, so those kind of small fells, right? No injuries for the guys, but a small minor like little scratch or cut. So we learn from those mistakes by laughing at it and not getting angry about it. Like, oh, I fell because I'm a stupid. No, nobody fell because stupid. We most of the job related injuries happen because we were not aware of what we're doing. Meaning we don't pay attention. We just do things because we have to do. Another big thing that I see on my Latino guys out there, my family, is we don't wait for the order. We just if we hear the boss saying, "Hey, you're gonna do this," we start like acting on it without listening to the whole conversation or the whole instruction. So and then I ask this a lot. Do you know how to use this? And 90% of the time, they tell me yes. My labor, my coworkers, my employees, whatever, the Latino guys, okay? Because it's most of the time I've been experienced and working with, they always say yes. It's okay to say no, my friends. Don't be afraid to say no. I mean, no, I don't know, but if you teach me, I can more than happy do it and learn and be safe because you're gonna teach me. But we tend to fear like if we say no, we're gonna get fired or we're gonna get in trouble. No, we know if you come from another country, we know if you come from another state because some states were way different than California, and and for God's sakes, other countries way different. Like Mexico, the construction industry over there is way different. Like we build in Mexico, we build from masonry, like bricks, mortar, concrete. And here is mostly wood, lumber, things like that. So that's a huge difference. Same thing with concrete. We work the concrete. Like we pour it differently. We mix it manually most of the times over there in the small town. So all those things, yeah, they say, yeah, I know how to do it because again, one reason they might do a concrete over there, but again, it's a whole different story. So it's always good to say no. Don't be afraid. Don't fear that they're gonna fire you because you say no. I don't know, and that's one of the things that helped me a lot too. I always say no. I don't know, but if you tell me how to do it, I will learn from it. And even though they tell me, I will research if it was if the knowledge that they passed me it was the best approach. I always research. I always ask. I didn't take the first instruction as it was the set it was the only way. No, I always ask and wonder and always wonder, my friends, that will take you to a way different uh, perspective in life. Like if you always wonder how and always ask how. So every time they teach me how to do things, how and why you do this and why you do it that way and why, because how and why is a big. A lot of people get frustrated and because they don't want to hear the why or how, they just tell you, "Don't be stupid. You know how to do it. You're a labor guy. You should know." Those I walk away from that kind of mentality because it's to me it's more stupid the one who doesn't want to pass the knowledge than the one who's asking. Because the one who's asked is already setting himself to grow and to be successful because he's asking to prevent mistakes, accidents, and things like that. So always encourage yourself to ask why, how, to learn, to put that practice and learn. And the most important, when you learn something, if you teach it to someone else, your brain will keep more the knowledge than just learning. Like, let's say if I'm telling you this right now, if you don't do anything by listen to me and and see what I'm doing, you're gonna learn very very little. But if you start doing and teaching, the learning increase like 20-30% more that you're gonna it's gonna stay in your brain. So teaching is a way method of learning, because when you teach, you realize you were doing it wrong too, and you learn too. So see, so don't be afraid to teach, don't be afraid to ask, and never hold it to you. One of the big misunderstanding right now in this generation is we don't want to teach and show the world how to do things. We just want to assume, and we're creating robots right now. That's why all those new generations. I'm not criticizing. I'm not saying it's their fault. It's all our fault, because we as a older people we don't do nothing to or any we don't do any good to change that. We still believe in the school system, but school teach you one thing. Here, knowledge teach you the other. Well, way different story. So if you put the books and the knowledge that you learn here together, it will be way better. We will be way better off. Like hands-on training and school training will be way better than just studying in school and just let you they just dump you to the industry. And that's why a lot of the graduates start earning a very little income, because they don't know how they work.